Hello Mudici, let's continue our journey with the Fugue and Marpurg. We are at this point, and we are at section 4. Now we have to study Fugue subjects. Begin with the third degree of the tonic key. So interesting. The rule is, let's see what's the rule before the examples. If the melody of the Führer remains in the tonic key, the comet should commence its entry on the third degree of the dominant key. So, if it starts on the, say, tonic, the third degree of the tonic, the dux, the comes, the dominant, the third degree. And by contrast, if the melody of the dux tends toward the fifth, the comet should begin the answer. Wait. And by contrast, so the other case, by contrast, if the melody of the dux tends toward the key of the fifth, so here if it stays in the key of the first, but if the melody of the dux tends toward the key of the fifth, the comes should begin the answer with the second degree of the dominant key. So, starting, for example, in that case in C major, so we have the subject, which starts with the third degree of the tonic, and then it moves toward the key of G. Now we have to start with the second degree, which is A, the second degree of the dominant. Then we'll see with examples of the dominant key. It seems to us that, according to the circumstances, not only can the second degree of the dominant key can be used in the former case, but also the third degree of the dominant key can occur in the latter case. Examples will make this matter clearer. Those who attend to this general principle governing the organization of the comes will not err very easily in the choice between the two options. 1 to 5. See, okay, for the original text. Okay, now, table 15, figure 1. We are in, let's say, G minor. Don't confuse the subject. We are not in B flat major. We are in G minor. The dux by Matteson, so dux. Tap. Okay, and the comes. Here, the dux stays within the key, within G minor, and so the comes stays in D minor. So it starts with the third degree of G minor. Let's write simple counter subjects just to have our indications. Ta, 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 ta. Like tum, tum, ta, ta, tum. Tol, ta, ta, tum. This way. Tum, ta, tum, ta. Oh no, with the rest. La, sol, fa, do, la, sol, fa. Pa, pam, 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 pam. Now we should be able to transpose the same counter subject starting from D. And indeed it works. Re, mi, re, do, re, do, re, do, re, do, re. That way. Let's see the commentary. Here the third degree of the tonic key, G minor, is answered with the third degree of the dominant key, D minor, and the subject has been transposed note for note into the key of the fifth in accordance with the above rule that if the melody, which is the subject, remains in tonic key, the comes should commence exposition on the third of the dominant key. Clear. Second example, Scheib. So we are supposed to be in D major now, if we have the dukes in the upper part. D major, and this is the third degree of D major. Third degree of D major. Do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Someone could even say that we are in a major at the end, but la, re, sol, do actually seems to be in D major. Do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Here the modulation happens because we can put a G sharp, sol, don. Indeed, D major, then from this point A major, and for that reason, you can see we are ending in D. And we have the third degree, la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Here, the second is turned into a repetition. So, let's write a counter subject. Sol, do, re, mi, fa, la. For example, la, re. Simple counter subject. La, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, do, re, mi, fa, pa, pam. I would do pam, 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 so, ta, ta, tan. Now, in the answer, la, re, sol, do, re, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Even in the counter subject too. Do, pam, 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 pam. Then I would repeat even here the same note because of fa, 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 mi, fa. Good. Fa, mi, fa. Indeed, we finish in D major. Okay, clear. Let's see the commentary. Here, the third degree of the tonic key is answered with the third degree of the dominant key. The third degree of the tonic key is answered by the third degree of the dominant key, D major, A major, and the subject has been transposed not to, what the fuck, the second point. This example closes on the fifth degree of the tonic key, A major. Despite that, and there is a point, let me see, 1 to 6, he says, a better alternative is to view the subject as modulating to the dominant key of A major. A better alternative is to view the subject as modulating to the dominant key of A major. That Marpurg agrees is confirmed by his first remark regarding, okay, let's see. This example closes on the fifth degree of the tonic key, so A major. Yes, which is a modulation, of course. Despite that, this example violates the aforementioned rule, which states that the initial third degree of the tonic key, here F sharp, should be answered with the initial second degree of the dominant. It has instead been answered with the third degree of the dominant key, whereby it is also noteworthy how the second AB at the beginning of the second bar is transformed in the comments into a unison, the repetition, by the repetition of the E. However, the comments could have been started with the second degree of the dominant key, A major, in the following way. Now, one of the things we should do, because there's not another example here, we should take from this PDF just a little portion of the stuff. This is in enough and even more. Screenshot, copy, and we put it there. So when we need it, no here, but in the example. So when we need, we can have a little score, a little piece of score to use. Let's say that I put it here. Okay, when I want to do a copy and paste. In that case, let's do blocka. Okay. So basically, he's saying that we could do this, starting on the second degree of the dominant key, which is if we are in D major. Okay. La, instead of la, Indeed, because in terms of solmization, what happens? It happens that this is la, la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. But without the sharp, we get mi, la, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. There's a very beautiful relationship here between solmization and hexachords and diapente species. So it's much more important if we write it separately. What's the point? Now, our subject is in D major. So, la, la, re, sol, do, with two sharps. La, la, re, sol, do. La, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. This is la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. It stays in one hexachord. If we write it in the same key signature, this way, as the answer is written, we cannot say la, re, because la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, re, mi, re, mi, re implies mi, re. And remember that in D major we have two hexachords, one on D ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and the other one on the fifth degree, so ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, the one where we have the subject. So in that case, because the hexachord is here, we are overpassing the hexachord, and this note doesn't belong to the hexachord, to the orange hexachord, to the other one. So this should be mi, la, sol, fa, mi, la, re. So mi, la, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, then la, re, and thanks to the repetition, we can continue with re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, as you can see, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Fa, mi. While if we start on the second degree of the dominant, so we are in D major, what's the second degree of the dominant? The second degree of the dominant is B, because dominant is A, so the second degree is there. And on B, as you can see, there is the other hexachord. So we answer basically using the other hexachord. That's why. La, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. And now makes sense. La, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. As you can see. And the hexachords, now this is very coherent with the hexachords. More than with the key, this is coherent with the hexachord. So coherent with the key, and transposition. And here the coherence is with the hexachord. There is another thing which is noteworthy, which is if we do that. 1, 2, and we add one more sharp, so we imagine to be in A major. It's like if we have now other two hexachords. In A major, an hexachord on A, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, this point. What's this? Notification, annoying notification, nothing, spam. And the other one on the fifth degree, which is E. Now we have la at that point, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so makes sense. La, re, sol, do. La, re, sol, do. Then we get out of G, so G, which should be sharp, now becomes Fa. From Mi becomes Fa. It's like canto enarmonico with the ordo B quadro giacente in Cantus Firmus. It's all connected. Do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. So from an ancient point of view, with the use of the ordo B quadro giacente, which is a technique of solmization used in Cantus Firmus, so study Cantus Firmus, we can have the same syllables in this context. La, re, but maybe with, let's write the correct notes. La, re, because la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. So this is coherent with the ordo B quadro giacente or ordo bemolle nascosto. The relationship is or a step up or a step down depending on how you see it. Ordo B quadro giacente. Let's say this is the part with the ordo B quadro giacente. Beautiful. B, so where you can find the explanation of the ordo B quadro giacente in the Cantus Firmus course, it's about in chapter 8 about irregular tones. So it should be that way, okay, which is what we have written. Note 1 to 8 that Marpurg suggests these alternate commas which modulates back to the main key D major, confirms that he in fact believes that the subject modulates the dominant key of A major. Okay. The original, so 1 to 7 was the note 1 to 7. Okay. The third degree of the tonic here, F sharp. The original gives the pitch D as if Marpurg accidentally viewed the subject in B minor. No mention is made of this mistake in the errata. The key must be D major, however, because of this section addresses subject that begins on the third degree. The third degree of the tonic, here F sharp. Well, okay. By the way, it almost seems as if this would be more natural, and because the key is a little more ambiguous in the subject beginning with F sharp, this latter subject beginning with B could be regarded as the dux, and the former beginning with a sharp could be made into the commas. The subject would then begin on the 6th degree in D major, B. So it's saying that in that case this could be the commas starting on the 6th degree and then the answer at the dux. So the dux and the commas then starting on the 5th degree. So inverting them. Okay. In order to stay in a D major actually. So it's a subject which wouldn't be any more modulating, because now if we put la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, it stays within the hexachord, so it's not modulating. Answer, la, re, sol, do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. It's not modulating anymore. Good. Figure number 3. Let's open this. Okay, figure number 3. I think that this video must be cut into more sections because we are still at the first line. Now let's see. 2 treble clef. Yes. Here it's starting on the 3rd degree of C major. Mi, do, la, fa, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, do. Up to this point is the same. Mi, do, la, fa, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa. And then 5th degree, 1st degree. So this section here is in the first degree and this section 5th degree. So now this section is on the 5th degree and this section is on the 1st degree. So the 3rd becomes the 2nd, very clearly. This is figure number 3. Let's say Let's see. Figure 3. Here the melody of the subject also moves toward the dominant key. Nevertheless, the comes must begin with the third degree of the dominant key. If one does not want to change the melody needlessly right at the beginning, in the third bar, C, E, F sharp was answered with G, A, B, according to the second principle. Some might see the subject as ending a second principle. Some might see the subject as ending on the downbeat of the third bar with pitch E. Yes, someone could say, okay, but the subject is ending here. Re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, and then there's just a connection. Someone could say that. True. If one had taken G, B, C sharp, the melody would have been imitated exactly. Pam, 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 pam. But here, of course, Marpurg considered this part of the subject, so we have to read that in this framework. But since the modulation to D major is foreign to the key of C major, and because the subject closes in the key of the dominant, the comes must return to the tonic key. This modulation to D major would have been incorrect. Therefore, the passage that brings the dux toward G major must be arranged in the comes by the change of the progression in such a way that the melody again arrives at the tonic key. This happens when the melody, due to the smaller half of the octave, is shortened, and the third CE becomes the second GA. Such the F sharp, which is mi, is answered with the B, which is mi in solmization. More than ever these days, this is disavowed by those who made fugues before they even knew what the comes in the fugue mean. Wait a moment. Disavowed. What does it mean? Disavowed. Disavow, disconfessare, ripudiare, rinnegare, sconfessare. So, more than even these days, this is ripudiato, disconfessato by those who made fugues before they even knew what the comes in the fugues mean. Okay. By the way, okay, that's just gossip of the time. Let's conclude with example number 4, the first part of this video. Okay, Leotard, let's play this. We are in F major, we start with F, so with A, and the fugue goes do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa. Interesting, because here we have mi, do, re, so we are in F major, so on the first degree. Mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol. I don't know where Marpurg considered the subject to end, because we could say that the subject finishes here, but look at this section. Sol, fa, sol. It seems that sol, fa, mi, fa. It seems that we can consider an insertion here to connect G to E and then to have the conclusion here. So this B is made bigger because between C and B there is a second. Here between G and E there is a third. So we need another note in the middle to create the clausola. That may be an explanation. Let's see. Figure 4. The comes here follows the dux on the third degree of the dominant key, but contrary to the rule that the tonic degree and the fifth degree must answer each other at the end, here the fifth degree C in the fourth bar is answered with the second degree G in the seventh bar. So it's saying that this thing is going against the rules because there is a C here and a G here instead of an F. Mi, do, re, mi, do, fa. We should have something like do, re, mi, do, fa, but the composer wanted to keep the do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol. This is the point. counterpoint. This exception always takes place, however, when, as here, some examples, A, alpha, the accompanying voice is fashioned so that it relates to the tonic key, presumably via B flat in bar 7 in the tonic key, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so by B flat, okay. Okay, so that by the use of this B flat, it's like if we are back in F major, that's why. So the accompanying voice is fashioned so that it relates to the tonic key, because since there is a B flat, we are in F major, not in C major. And beta, if after this displacement the melody of the comes is immediately led back to the tonic key by a small transition. Had this not happened, okay, the small transition, which is the green section I've highlighted as the transition down a third here. Only one note here, and here we need a transition, as you can see. Had this not happened, the comes would have had this not happened, the comes would have had to be organized in the following way. So let's write the comes how it should be here. So we can do copy and paste that. Maybe, yeah, I can write it here. So it should be, the comes would be, according to that man, Marpurg, mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa. So rest, mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, mi, do, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, oh. No more power? Amazing. What's happening? Do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa. Oh, do, re, mi, fa. Fa, mi, fa. Fa, mi, fa. Here it is. 1, mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, fa. Indeed, but on the other hand, we have a transition. So, mi, do, re, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa. Yes. Or another possibility, I would change a little this section instead of the repetition, which I don't like, do, re, mi, do, fa, I would have done this. But it's another matter. And so we'll continue this journey, do, re, mi, do, fa, in the next video with the other examples. See you. Bye. Allemande, courante, sarabande, giga, minuet, corrente, passepied, courret, gavotte, lourd. Learn how to compose a baroque suite with all its dances. Study the compositional techniques of each dance. Analyze the work of the great composers and compose 2 full suites together with me. Discover Suite and Dances, the 3rd level of the Musicus Practicus Baroque Path. Go to this link, explore everything you will learn, and start today with the free levels on the Musicus Practicus Academy free. Then choose the complete path that suits you best and get ready to compose your first Baroque suite as if you had lived in the 18th century.